I saw those people back again this year. They usually gather every year outside church or in the public square with that same old story about how there's no room, the inn. But I called the Four Seasons and the Peninsula, and they said they had plenty of rooms and terrific weekend rates available. There's a lot of chatter about plagiarism in academia right now. I'm tired of hearing the same old story, no matter who the originator was. God's the greatest plagiarizer we know because he comes each year with that same old story, along with stage props and scenery. If God went to Harvard, he could be president of Harvard now because he's the original plagiarizer. I've never been crazy about people who wear crosses, let alone the plastic Jesus on dashboards, which we really don't see anymore, but I still see the people wearing the crosses, and I often see them wearing them in the most compromising of situations. And what does that mean? Being Christian is aspirational, but it doesn't mean you're a good person. Whatever that means. Jesus didn't come to ask us to wear a cross or be a good person. He just asked us to see things differently. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Sunday Coffee Hour, we talk about everything and nothing. This Sunday, we talked about last minute Christmas shopping at Tiffany's, being a good and bad person, arriving too late, and not being banged over the head. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Isaiah. The people who have walked in darkness have seen a great light. And from Titus, the grace of God has appeared. We're called to live godly lives. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Marianne Budd. She said, God gives us moments to see and hear. Marianne pointed out the moon window at the cathedral, which contains a section of moon rock. She shared reflections from astronauts seeing the Earth from space. They said, we have a beautiful planet. Our home must be defended like the Holy Land because it is the Holy Land. It was the overview effect, as Marianne explained, which sometimes changes how we see things. Marianne quoted Thomas Merton, who said, it can be overwhelming when we love everyone because at the core of reality, we're all children of God. It's the definitive way of seeing this, and it's most often seen in a newborn child. God wants us to see that he's bringing great joy to all people. It's God's intention that there be peace on earth. Jesus is the sign that the plan is still in action. Marianne said all generations have struggled with this reality, the reality of there, but not there yet. She said, Shakespeare said, we have all heard and in part believed. Maybe we believe Christmas comes. It's a yearly occasion. It's a way of seeing things differently. It's a sign and it's a plan still in action. Believing or not believing, it's all about God. At St. James, Stephen Balke started off by talking about death. He quoted Mary Oliver and about her book, When Death Comes to Eternity. It's just another possibility, she says. She said that when her life is over and was over, she wanted to say that she was married to amazement. I don't want to just be a visitor in this world. I want to be an active participant in it. Stephen remarked that this Sunday we were still in Advent and celebrating Christmas at the same time because this year it landed on the same day. It was kind of a way of visiting and living it all at the same time. Stephen said Episcopalians are Christmas people. Many are uncomfortable with the dying part. Life comes into the world first by embracing the death of that which came before it. Our lives exist between the bookends of our birth and the bookends of our death. We've all experienced death in this lifetime, job loss, divorce, and betrayal, just to experience new life in relationships, new opportunities, and even finding a new church. Sometimes people casually mention the reborn part, but they never really acknowledge the dying part. It's just like skippity doo dah, everything will be great. But that's not really how we experience it. There's a lot of rough places in the dying to something part. Stephen referenced the book called about the art of dying called Mortis Ariendi. The power of death is something central to our lives, even though we try hard to pretend otherwise. Stephen said Mary Oliver really believed in her poem about death. This season will end and the next season will begin, regardless of how we see it. This might not be our last season, but eventually we will come to the end of our season. In 100 years, none of us will be here. St. James will no longer be here. We were here and we tried to do our best. That's all we can say. Yes, we live between the bookends of our lives. We have glimpses beyond that because God is beyond that. That's the answer to why we say one thing and do another. We're living this life in this season, and God is calling us from the next one, far beyond the bookends. Nobody wants to be cut off from relationships. It's a form of dying. Many feel cut off from loved ones, friends, and even from church. They say the seed needs to fall to the ground and die before something new can take root. But that really takes a leap of faith because we need to accomplish things in this lifetime, not die in it. Even Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. Not being in control is not very flattering. We all live our lives somehow like death is for everyone else, but not for us. And somehow it'll pass us by. Mary Oliver said, we're not just a visitor in this life, we are active participants. And having a death sentence doesn't sound like a very good part of that bargain. Guests are usually treated better than the ones who live there. Somehow many of us have become active participants, and we became so very unexpectedly. Yes, I have seen those people wearing the crosses in compromising circumstances because life is a compromising circumstance. Everything we say can and will be held against us. We ask for one thing and expect something else. Science tells us we're a blob of plasma, but even science acknowledges the existence of the God particle. God is the original plagiarizer, at least from our hearing and our understanding. And yes, we are out of control. It's not very flattering, but it's the best time and best kind of unflattering now and at Christmas time and at every time. If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hour is every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time on Sundays. I will include my email in the description of this video. I'll be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.